Hello, everyone. I hope you're still awake and had some coffee. I'm already nervous because my colleague just told me you're 17 slides too many there. So bear with me. I'll try to rush through them. Okay, right away, without wasting more time. So this is FAIRDOM SEEK. It is a platform for managing your research data, assets, whatever comes of it, in a very fair, compliant manner. At least we enable to do it. So where did it come from? It originated from a FAIRDOM consortium, which is basically a collaborative initiative between large funding bodies, consortia, institutions, small groups, and even individuals. So what we aim to do is it's a community of users, developers, and we get together and try to develop this FAIRDOM Seek, continuously growing it, and also trying to enable the use of FAIR principles in your research management. Okay, so what is it actually? It's a web-based open source platform. You can use it, you can use the API, and it helps in comprehensive research management in the sense that you can upload your data sets, your models, protocols, samples, anything associated with your research project can go on there. Obviously, it helps you capture the full life cycle of your project, right from the inception till the end of the project, and that leaves you with complete traceability. And eventually, as I said, we offer tools, effective tools of enabling and adhering to the FAIR principles. So how does it adhere, or how does it enable you to implement FAIR principles? So the four principles of findable, accessible, reusable, and interoperable, what we do is we help you give persistent identifiers to your data or your files or your research. And then you have granular access controls we use authentication models, standard protocols, and of course, when we provide detailed metadata, provenance, and we obviously help you with reproducibility there, covering the reusable. And of course, we're using standard formats or vocabularies, control vocabularies that are there to help easier integration with other systems that are available. So there, your FAIR principles are covered. Now, what is it doing? So FAIRDOM Seek is a central repository, as I said, for diverse types of research objects. So you can organize your data or your project into these four assets, or like yellow pages, which basically has information about the project it is, the people that are involved, institutions that are involved, and then experiments that you're doing. And I'll go in a bit detail into that about later. And then assets that are there, and then it also stores your samples. So how does it do this? So the underlying structure is the ISA framework, which is the investigation study essay, which is based on the ISA tools. And we're not fully ISA compliant, but we try to adapt and accommodate our users in the underlying ISA structure. We use it as a framework and then adapt it as and how our users need it. So, okay, sorry. So in implementing the FAIR principle, in implementing the ISA framework, what we are doing here is we're also enabling you to link all of your research assets and explore the relationships between them. So what is happening here is we have the ISA structure at the center that you can see here, and then all of your assets that are associated with your research project, the data, the samples, will all somehow be linked to that central framework that you see in the middle of it. So you always have preserved associations between your various objects and data types that you're creating. So now I'm going to cover some of the high features of the FAIRDOM Seek. I've covered some of the features here that it helps you in organizing, versioning, interoperability, metadata, access control, and of course, DOI integration. So I'll just briefly go into the details of this a bit. So as I said, you can organize your metadata by way of the ISA structure, and your experiments can be organized in the investigation study assay. Of course, you can associate data files to each of your assays there, and of course, also samples. I'll talk about them in a bit. So for each level of the ISA framework, we do provide a way of associating rich metadata. That is, you can put in all of the information, like who are the creators, what are the publications associated with this, are there any discussion channels. Of course, you also introduce what is this project about, what is this investigation about, what is the extended metadata or metadata that is already available, or a control vocabulary that can be associated to this project. So it has these comprehensive documentation of experimental procedures. As you can see here, you can have your figures there, then you can have all the information of the samples that you're uploading there, and not to forget the people that are creating this, and also the institutions that are involved in these projects. Now, this is a very important one where I always got asked that you talk about making your data accessible, making your data fair, but we don't want to share for maybe a certain period, there's an embargo, or while we are still doing the project. So what we want to reiterate is fair is not equal to open. So while your data might be fair, and what FAIRDOM SEEK is doing, that it is facilitating this fair sharing. But you can see that you have the choice to share it in a controlled manner. For example, you can either keep it private, or you can share it with the individuals or the groups of researchers or institutes that you want to, or make it public to the scientific community. This can happen while the project is still going on, or you can keep an embargo period and release it at the end once the publication is out there. So it's totally in your hands. DOIs are very important if you want to make your data findable. So what we do is that in FAIRDOM SEEK, you can associate a DOI with your, whether it's a study, whether it is an object, whether it is a data file, you can associate DOIs to it. Now, this is very interesting because we provide, this is free if you're using one of our public hubs, but then if you're using FAIRDOM SEEK via an API, then there's a different procedure to it, but you can do it. And what is also important is that you don't have to put your final version on. The whole point of FAIRDOM SEEK is that you have to use this platform. You can start using this platform when your project starts. And if you want, during the course of project, of course, we change paths, we do things multiple times. And how do you do this? You want to keep track of your versions. So you can keep track of all the versions of your data here, and that can be all saved in FAIRDOM SEEK. And again, all of these versions, you can keep them private, nobody will see them, or you can choose to share them with whoever you want. So it's not only versioning, it's totally in your hand to configure this visibility of your various versions. And this is a very interesting part of the FAIRDOM SEEK, which gets a lot of traction, and people, we have modified this a lot. That is uploading your samples that are associated with your project to the FAIRDOM SEEK to keep a track of it. And you have multiple ways of doing it. So we build this way of attributes that define your samples, and we call them sample types, and then you associate your samples with them. Now, these samples can be large. If you just have a few samples, you can upload them manually. But if they are like you have huge numbers of samples, there's also a way of doing it in a batch upload. And again, each sample has comprehensive metadata. We define these attributes, and we also provide a way that you want to include some more attributes which are not there. So we can do that. So we have support for custom vocabularies, but we also use standard controlled vocabularies from the OLS, such as EDAM, to annotate your data. So if there is a control vocabulary of your field, we can integrate it with the FAIRDOM SEEK, and you can use it to describe your samples. And then again, the most important thing is when you're uploading your data assets or any kind of research assets to FAIRDOM SEEK, it does not have to be in a specific format, whether it's an XML, whether it's an Excel file, whether it is a PowerPoint presentation that you want to upload, you can upload it and associate to the project or the investigation or the study that you have defined on the FAIRDOM SEEK. Now, we don't work in silos, obviously. We want to make it as flexible as possible to integrate it with other software that are available, or at least that are useful from the fair asset management point of view. So what we're trying to do here is, for example, if you have some models that you want to simulate, now if your models are uploaded to Seek in SBML format or CellML format, they can not only be uploaded and stored there, you can also simulate them within the platform using JWS Online and Copasi and Morpheus, which are integrated with the FAIRDOM SEEK. And we are trying as much as possible, depending on funding, to integrate as many external tools and resources that are available so that FAIRDOM SEEK becomes like a one-stop shop for you. Now, one of the recent endeavors that we did was it's called a Bioindustry 4.0 project, where we tried to integrate with this another metadata management platform, which is called the Fair Data Station. So Fair Data Station, in a way, also enables you for the batch upload of samples, and then call them into FAIRDOM SEEK. So if there are any other such platforms which you have already built and you don't want to redo the work, so we'll try to integrate them with the FAIRDOM SEEK so that it becomes compatible with your platform. And you might have heard during the day some, in words like RO Crate, which is our research object crate. And the future work is we're also trying to integrate FAIR Data Station and FAIRDOM SEEK with RO Crate. It is already implemented in some of our softwares like the Workflow Hub. So if you want to, and RO Crate is a way of packaging your data together with your metadata. So we will try to integrate the RO Crate with the FAIRDOM SEEK in the near future. And again, the most important thing, now, this is one of the ways we try to integrate and make it easy for you to use, which is the API programmatic access. So you can, you can get your local installations of the FAIRDOM SEEK via the API. So you don't have to always use the public hubs that are available. If you want to have local installations, whether at your project level, whether at your institute level, you can do that via the API. And I'm going to tell you now how FAIRDOM SEEK is currently being used by the community. And we have various ways of doing that. One is the project hubs, and other is the local instances. Now, in project hubs, what we do is, so together with the FAIRDOM SEEK team, like we take the FAIRDOM SEEK software and we try to customize it based on the needs of the projects and the requirements, and then build hubs which are publicly available, which are on the web, so everybody can see them, and you have the authority to limit the usage of that because everything happens via an authentication system. So right now we have a couple of hubs which are in use. Like FAIRDOM Hub is our public hub, for which you don't have to even get in touch with us. You can go to FAIRDOM Hub, the website, and then register yourself and start uploading your data and creating your ISA framework. Data Hub is being created by our Belgian colleagues who are using it for the Decipher project. IBISPA Hub is another one used by the IBISPA ERIC Consortium and also now the Bioindustry Consortium. MIT Biomicro Center is used by a lab in the MIT where they have developed their own wrap around it to suit their needs, but the core of that is FAIRDOM SEEK. And then we have other collaborations like the NFDI for Health. It's used in many ways, many projects with the NFDI for Health in Germany. And then Workflow Hub is, again, a very customized version of FAIRDOM SEEK. To be honest, it's quite a deviation from FAIRDOM SEEK because it is not a fair asset management. It is a workflows asset management there. And we have adapted it to have our workflows online. But the core of that is also FAIRDOM SEEK. This is a snapshot of the FAIRDOM Hub, which is a public hub, which I mentioned to you, that you can use this. You don't have to seek our permission. You don't even have to get in touch with us. So you go to the FAIRDOM Hub website and you'll register your account and register your project and start uploading the data that is associated for your project. And right now, as you can see, we have around 469 projects that are already there and they are public. And again, it is up to you to what level of access you want to give to the public. Maybe you want to keep an embargo till you finish the project, till your paper is published. So all of that is up to you. And while doing all of this, the FAIRDOM SEEK team is always happy to help. It's not that we're leaving you on your own. We do training sessions from time to time. We have workshops if you want to, get your way around how to use this platform. And as I said, not only can you use the FAIRDOM SEEK as the hub, what you can also use it is as a local deployments, which is you take the API and install it either for your institute or for your project or for any consortia, like I showed the IBISPA Hub or the NFDI for Health uses it. So these are all the projects that I'm listing here that are currently using FAIRDOM SEEK as their asset management platform. And as I said, so FAIRDOM SEEK is thriving because of the community of the users and developers we have. So we have a lot of international collaborations. So we started as a small team, but now it keeps growing every time a project comes in. And we hope that if any of you are here interested in this, so please get in touch with us. And as I said, we have regular events like training events. We do hackathons we do technical hackathons as well as community hackathons because they're two different things. Sometimes the developers have some features which they want to develop, or our users request us that is there a possibility for a feature to be installed that they want to use. So we try to bring it all together and keeping our resources in mind. And if it's possible, we try to implement as and when whatever is required from the projects or individuals. Of course, the FAIRDOM's team offers comprehensive support for the projects that use the FAIRDOM, whether it is the FAIRDOM Hub or whether you want to use the API. We'll help you with the installation. We'll help you with, as I said, training events that you can come. We'll also do one-to-one workshops with you that if you want to learn how to use the FAIRDOM Seek. And this is, of course, the reason that till you are successfully installed and adopted and implemented and using it throughout your journey, we'll be there to help you. So these are the various ways where you can join us. One is we have our FAIRDOM Club meeting, which happens monthly. So if you want to join us, I've put in the contact information there. What could be more useful to you if you're a user or want to get a know-how of what it is about, how you can get started? That is the FAIRDOM Community Workers meeting, which happens monthly, last Thursday of the month. That's the time and how you can contact us. And there's, if you're interested in the technical side or the development of FAIRDOM Seek, or want to have your own feature developed or included in the FAIRDOM Seek, then you can join the Slack channel, which again is the information there. And there are other various channels where you can join us. I'm sure these slides will be shared with the participants, so you can take it from there, or you can just use this URL and you'll get all the information there. So what I would like to tell you, if any of you are interested, we have a user meeting coming up soon, which is on the 16th of September. So please mark your calendar and you're welcome to join it. All the information is on our FAIRDOM website. The link is there. Or me and my colleagues are here, so we'll be happy to let you know what is the topic of this user meeting and how you can join. And that is our core team, which is currently working on the FAIRDOM. We have a lot of past members, and we also have associates who may not be regularly involved, but they were with us since the inception of this project and are still working with us. And as you can see, we have developers not only from our Manchester team, but we have developers from our Belgian team. We have developers from our German team. And so together we have come this far, and hopefully we always are looking for new members to join our team, whether it's the technical team or the user community. You're welcome to join, and let's improve FAIRDOM Seek together. And these are acknowledgement for our funders. I think I don't need to say more about that. And I'm on time. Thank you very much for your attention.
So we have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions.
Okay. Yeah. So thanks a lot for the talk. I was wondering if we are to deploy a local version of FAIRDOM Seek, is there a way to just manage them initially locally?
Absolutely.
And then transfer them to a public instance?
I mean, if you want to make a hub out of it, that's also possible. I think what the best thing would be, you'll deploy it locally, have a play around, then maybe make a public hub out of it. So that's also possible.
Okay, thank you.
And get in touch with us.
Thank you.
Hi, so my question was, have you considered getting in touch with any publishers with the software that you've got? Back when I was in the publishing industry, working at Scientific Data, we were creating metadata for the data records using ISOTUB. And what you've just described is the tool that I needed like 10 years ago. So
10 years too late, sorry.
But maybe not for the people that still work at the journal. So I just wondered whether you'd considered reaching out to them.
So I'm not sure about, we have contacted publishers in that sense that they take up this as a metadata record. But what we are trying to do is broker this tool with repositories like ENA, GEO. There is ongoing work where we're trying to integrate the systems so that the metadata that is built into this is directly transferred to those public repositories. But the problem is it's a huge funding effort. We are doing work on it, but it's active right now. It's not like it's we want to do it. It is happening, but at a slower pace than what we would like to see.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking ahead slightly to the data sustainability. This looks like a really useful tool. Could you get publishers to pay to use it? Is all I'm thinking. Anyway, I'll leave it there.
If you're still connected, I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Thank you very much.
All right, I think we're at time, but please, you can find Munazah after